Good Tuesday evening and welcome to the NCWLIFE Evening News. I'm Grant Olson. Before we get to today's top news stories, let's take a quick look outside that weather window. And after a little bit of a skiff of snow overnight, we talked about it last night, and that did make for a little bit of a slippery commute this morning, but it pretty much disappeared throughout the day. This shot looking northward from our Cascadian Sky-Fi Tower camera. Beautiful shot of a mixture of blue sky and some clouds out there. And we will continue to see some clouds moving in overnight tonight and into Wednesday. Yeah, because we have another storm system to tell you about, one of many that I'll talk about a little bit later on. But we could see a mixed bag of precipitation tomorrow, maybe to our north around Waterville, 3 inches of snow on the ground as that storm moves through on Wednesday. A lot of snow, though, if you're heading over Stevens Pass and Snoqualmie Pass, where we could see 8 to 12 inches of snow. I think this will mainly be Wednesday and Wednesday night for us here in north central Washington. But as I mentioned, just one of many storm systems that'll move into our area over the next few days. More on that coming up a little bit later on. And now a few of the stories we're following for you tonight. The man arrested after a spree of armed robberies, a vehicle chase, and the wounding of a sheriff's deputy in Grant County is now charged with armed holdup at BJ Shell Station in Rock Island. A Wenatchee man who admitted to molesting a 10-year-old boy faces a possible 5-year prison term when he's sentenced January 20th. And the Pateros man who allegedly held police at bay outside his house for 7 hours last week is now charged with making a bomb threat, intimidating a public servant, and obstructing police. More on that to come too. But first we begin tonight. Moses Lake police are asking for the public for help in identifying a suspect in a robbery yesterday morning at Airport Grocery Mart. Police say the suspect, who is believed to be armed, fled the store on foot with an undisclosed amount of cash into Larson housing community near Northwest Lane. The robbery happened at about 10 a.m. The suspect is described as a male of average height and slender build who may have a tattoo on the back of his left hand. Police say anyone who sees the suspect should not approach him, but contact the Moses Lake Police Department instead. Well, the man arrested after a spree of armed robberies, a vehicle chase, and the wounding of a sheriff's deputy in Grant County is now charged with the armed holdup at BJ's Shell Station in Rock Island. Police say 24-year-old Jesus Torres robbed BJ's armed with a handgun back on November 17th. He threatened a clerk and a customer and made off with cash and a jug of antifreeze. That same day, he allegedly robbed 2 Moses Lake businesses and led deputies on a vehicle chase in which he shot a pursuing deputy in the foot. Torres remains jailed and faces his next court hearings in January. Meanwhile, a Wenatchee man who admitted to molesting a 10-year-old boy faces a possible 5-year prison term when he's sentenced January 20th. 26-year-old Miguel Garza Villacana pleaded guilty to first-degree child molestation on Monday in Chelan County Superior Court. He admitted the crime to Wenatchee police when he was arrested back in August. Prosecutors agreed to recommend a 5-year sentence in exchange for Villacana's plea. It's at the upper end of the standard sentence range for his offense. Well, the Pateros man who allegedly held police at bay outside his house for 7 hours last week is now charged with making a bomb threat, intimidating a public servant, and obstructing police. 55-year-old David Kenneth Carpenter remains in the Okanagan County Jail after last week's standoff. Police say Carpenter threatened to shoot Pateros city workers replacing a water meter near his home and then told deputies his house was wired with explosives. The standoff led to a lockdown for Pateros schools, and some neighbors were evacuated before Carpenter exited the house and was arrested. A search of his home found several firearms, but no explosives. Well, coming up next, the first 3,900 doses of Pfizer's long-awaited COVID-19 vaccine arrived yesterday morning at the University of Washington Medical Center in Seattle. One inmate at the Grant County Jail has tested positive for COVID-19, and now 6 other inmates who had close contact with him have been quarantined. And a large pile of debris on Highway 97 near Turtle Rock Road was hit by a semi Monday afternoon, with the debris then striking a Cadillac. I'm Grant Olson, and you're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News.
Family roles change with time. You may find yourself being an unpaid caregiver to a loved one. Caregiving can be rewarding, but also stressful. Taking care of yourself is vital. Aging and Adult Care of Central Washington has low or no-cost services for unpaid caregivers, such as in-home support, care supplies, and counseling. Connect in your local area by calling Aging and Adult Care at 800-572-4459 and mention you're interested in caregiver support.
Traditional values and innovation in honoring the life of each family we serve is part of the ministry of Heritage Memorial Chapel. Our staff is committed to walk with your family with compassion through this time of grief. We are here to help and here to serve. The right kind of help when you need it most. Heritage Memorial Chapel.
Here's to 5 billion miles of amazing. 5 billion miles of...
This is so cool.
5 billion miles of helping you stay safe. 5 billion miles of passing the pump. 5 billion miles of... That's 5 billion miles driven around the world. The all-electric 2020 Nissan Leaf.
The extended range 2020 Leaf is now available at Town Nissan, right behind Costco in East Wenatchee.
Welcome back. In another news, the first 3,900 doses of Pfizer's long-awaited COVID-19 vaccine arrived yesterday morning at the University of Washington Medical Center in Seattle. This week, the first doses will be administered to high-risk health workers around Washington, as well as staff and residents of long-term care facilities. The vaccine comes in 2 doses given 21 days apart. Clinical trial data show it's 95% effective at preventing COVID-19 infection. Steve Filyalka with UW Medicine explained how the drug is handled.
There's 4 pizza boxes, like domino trays. Each one of those boxes has 195 vials. So they're multi-dose vials. So once you dilute it, you can get 5 doses out of there. And so there's 195 vials. Ideally, I would have made a box that held 200, but it holds 195, and that's why it's 3,900. We have 4 of those trays. So we're going to take 1 box out that's going to go here. Several of us will reload with dry ice because they recommend reloading it when you receive it because it's been out of, they're ultra cold for a while. It's good for 5 days, but I don't know when they packed it. So we will reload it, and then we're going to go deliver to our other 3 hospital sites. Northwest, Harborview, and Valley.
Washington is expecting a total of 219,000 doses to arrive by month's end. They'll be distributed under a vaccine plan organized by the State Department of Health and approved by the FDA. One inmate at the Grant County Jail has tested positive for COVID-19, and 6 other inmates who had close contact with him have been quarantined. The Grant County Sheriff's Office said the inmate tested positive last week and was immediately isolated to a special area of the jail for 14 days. The Sheriff's Office said the 6 people who were exposed have tested negative for the virus and will continue to be tested every 3 days for the next 2 weeks. A large pile of metal debris on Highway 97 near Turtle Rock Road was hit by a semi Monday afternoon, with the debris then striking a 2009 Cadillac Escalade. Washington State Patrol Trooper John Bryant said the incident happened near Lincoln Rock State Park just after 1 p.m. and was initially reported as a car versus semi injury accident, but there were no injuries and the highway was not blocked. Bryant said he doesn't know how the metal debris got onto that roadway. You're watching the NCWLIFE Evening News. Coming up next, tonight's feature story and your complete local weather forecast. That and much more still to come on the NCWLIFE Evening News. Please stay with us.
I have a hereditary bone disease from the female side of my family. My bone loss was so significant that you could almost see the roots. I became embarrassed and I started covering my mouth. Eating became very difficult as far as I stopped eating apples, corn on the cob, things that you just eat as it is without utensils. Dr. Divis was my dentist prior to having implants. We talked about traditional dentures or implants, and implants was the only way really that I could go. John Divis and all of his office staff, they checked on me throughout all the processes. I would never go anyplace else. Today, I can eat corn on the cob. I can have apples. Thanks to Dr. John Divis and his staff, I have my smile back. I feel more confident. I am me again.
This is John Divis. Let our team help you solve your dental needs.
So Pam, how's your mom doing?
She's okay. She's struggling. She'd like to stay in her house, and it's getting harder for her to do the daily chores.
What kinds of problems is she having?
Just basic house cleaning, you know, taking care of her house, yard work, taking care of her medicine.
It does sound exhausting.
It is very exhausting, and I always worry about her.
Aging and Adult Care can assist you or your loved one to remain comfortably and safely in their own home. Contact them today to start the conversation.
Welcome back to the NCWLIFE Evening News. 12th District State Representative Mike Steele of Chelan says the upcoming legislative session will be like no other as legislators meet remotely. In tonight's feature story, Steele told Wake Up Wenatchee Valley's Dan Kuntz he expects the session, which begins in January, will be heavily focused on providing COVID-19 relief, and that's the way he'd like to see it.
Well, we know that the upcoming legislative session this year will be virtual in its entirety. So we will all be working remotely, and we may have to go the very first day meet in person because for the House of Representatives, you have to adopt rules in order to operate, and we can't, according to our rules that have been set out, we can't adopt any new changes to those rules unless we're in person and vote in person. So it sounds like there may be some accommodation made for all of us, the 98 members of the House, to convene at St. Martin's University in one of their gymnasiums to be socially distant and safe while we cast our one vote, and then we'll all head back home to conduct the rest of the session virtually. Obviously, my main focus as one of the chief budget writers in the state, serving on as the ranking member on the capital budget, and now a member of the Appropriations Committee and the ranking member in education, it's going to be COVID relief, small business focused, COVID relief. You know, what can we do to help our communities move through this pandemic, move through this crisis in a meaningful way? We're going to use the capital budget as a stimulus budget. We're going to look for ways to infuse job creation, building creation, things that will help our economy hopefully spring back very quickly. That's the hope. My hope is that we'll adopt budgets and deal with the COVID response and get out of town before we can do any additional damage as the legislature.
Time now to take a look at your North Central Washington weather forecast, and there is a lot to get to today. Before we get to those details, outside we go as we normally do. This shot taken from on top of the Cascadian, our Sky-Fi tower camera that way, looking up North Wenatchee Avenue, and there were some clouds out there today. A skiff of snow overnight, a little bit more snow I noticed in East Wenatchee than in Wenatchee, but that's the elevation difference because of that. But most of that snow in the Wenatchee area went away this afternoon with temperatures getting above the freezing mark. In fact, today, a little bit warmer than yesterday. Unofficially high temperature at 34 degrees. That's a couple of degrees above where we should be at 32. Once again, we started the day at 28, 5 degrees above 23, which is our normal low temperature. Record high, 50 degrees. That was set in 2002. And our first below zero record, our 3 below is our record low, and that was set back in 1964. Only 2/100ths of an inch of precipitation out of that snow snowfall overnight. And I think Uriah corrected me. That should be 5.22 inches of moisture. We'll get that change for you tomorrow. Sunrise this morning, 7:42, and the sun set this afternoon at 4:11. Let me show you what we're expecting over the next few days. Tomorrow, it's going to be a wet one. Not so much early on with temperatures okay, still above normal. 41 for Moses Lake, 40 Ephrata, 38 in Quincy, and 36 here in the Wenatchee area. About 34 in Leavenworth and 36 as well, the high temperature tomorrow in Chelan. But the reason it's going to be wet, the jet stream and what's called an atmospheric river. And here we go. Here we are right here, Washington State, and here is the jet stream way out in the Pacific, and it's aimed right at the Pacific Northwest. This is called an atmospheric river. What it is basically a river of moisture that's riding the jet stream, and as long as that jet stream is pointed right at us, we're going to see one storm system after another. And as we go to that surface loop, I can show you exactly what I'm talking about there. We do have a lot of storms out there. Once again, here we are in Washington State. 1, 2, 3, and 4 storms, and they're all heading our way because of that atmospheric river that will be moving our direction. So get ready for some wet weather as we move over about the next 5 or 6 days. Tonight we can expect partly cloudy skies, a light breeze or so and mild. There still will be a few scattered showers. Those mainly will be in the Cascades and over into western Washington. Also some snow in the Rockies overnight tonight. But by tomorrow, here comes that atmospheric river. 80 to 90% chance of rain. It's actually 80% during the day and 90% by tomorrow night. We could pick up a tenth to maybe a quarter of an inch out of that as we get into our Thursday. We could see a chance for a morning sprinkle on Thursday as that first system moves away. The good news, it's going to warm up. Thursday, our first day into the 40s, and we're going to see several of those as most of south central and southeastern Washington experience those nice temperatures. Friday, mostly cloudy, just a 30% chance of a rain-snow mix. Once again, I think that will mostly be in the western part of the state. The Cascades could get hammered as we get into the end of the week and into the weekend. And then the next round of storminess moves our way on Saturday. Cloudy, a 70% chance of rain, and unseasonably warm. You can see that western zonal flow moving into Washington, and the yellow colors, that's heavy rain, and we could see 2 to 5 inches of rain in the Cascades Saturday night into Sunday. Mostly cloudy then for Sunday, a 40% chance of rain, and still unseasonably warm. We will see temperatures on Sunday in the lower to mid 40s, maybe even some scattered upper 40s out there. And then we go back to the cloudiness on Monday. Isolated showers are possible. The good news, it's going to stay very mild. Here in north central and south central Washington, we will see high temperatures well into the mid 40s. Take a look now at your 7-day forecast. Tonight we can expect 31 for our overnight low. A rainy Wednesday, especially late in the afternoon, and tomorrow night, and 37. And then a nice warm up as we head into the upcoming weekend, but it will be a wet one. Our best chance this weekend will be on Saturday with a 70% chance of rain. And then by Sunday, not too bad. Mild, high temperature, 44 degrees. And that's a look at your local weather forecast. Coming up next, tonight's sports report with Eric Granstrom and more as the NCWLIFE Evening News continues right after this.
Bring the whole family up to Stormy Mountain Brewing and local public house in historic downtown Chelan. Applewood smoked brisket, street-style tacos, and our award-winning barbecue rubs and sauces. Our meals pair perfectly with our exciting lineup of craft ales, made right here in Chelan. We've got room for big groups, or give us a call for catering. So grab the kids and check out the fun at Stormy Mountain Brewing and local public house located in the heart of Chelan.
Winter is a great time to trade in your current hot tub. Turn your old hot tub into money with Blue Lagoon Pool & Spa's trade-in program. You can save $500 to $1,000 off of any new artesian spa or take advantage of a free Bluetooth music experience. Blue Lagoon Pool & Spa recommends draining your hot tub every 3 months. Ask us about our drain and refill special. Stop on by Blue Lagoon Pool & Spa today.
And now it's a sports update on the NCWLIFE channel.
And a happy Tuesday to you. While Washington's football season has ended amid a cloud of COVID, Washington State still has one game left. Sticking to the plan of the Pac-12, schools within the conference not involved in the title game are scheduled to play a crossover game this weekend. As a result, WSU will travel to Utah to face the Utes Saturday morning at 10:30 on FS1. After having a last-minute cancellation last weekend against Cal, Cougar coach Nick Rolovich says his guys are just happy to get another chance to play.
These guys, especially the guys that are still going here, they've been through a lot, and all they want to do was play. And that this is not, I'm not taking shots at Cal. We've all been through it this year. This is about just our guys. You know, they were excited to play a football game, and I think and I'm sure the Cal's guys were. You know, they didn't need to fly up here to just turn around, fly back, and not play a game. So it's been hard on the players for all the teams, and you know, the challenge is making sure that we're there for them and get them ready to go to the next one.
Utah is 2-2 on the season and has won 2 straight coming into its crossover game with Washington State. Coach Rolovich says anytime you're facing a Kyle Whittingham coach team, you better be ready.
Any team that's coached by Kyle Whittingham is going to be a tough, physical, passionate, you know, love playing football team. You know, there's a physicality that his brand that has been developed and for a long time up there. You know, you're probably going to be sore the next day. Our challenge is to make sure they're sore too the next day. We have a great football game.
Washington State and Utah will kick off Saturday morning at 10:30 from Reese-Eccles Stadium in Salt Lake City. You can watch the game on FS1. Well, if the season ended today for the Seahawks, they'd be a wild card team in the playoffs and would face the winner of the NFC East. Well, how about that? It means Sunday's game would be a preview of a first-round playoff game for Seattle. Washington currently leads the NFC East, while Seattle would be a number 5 seed in the playoffs, trailing the Rams in the NFC West. Seahawks are coming off their most impressive win of the season against the winless Jets on Sunday. Coach Pete Carroll says the opponent doesn't matter. It's the consistency he's looking for.
It's always important, you know, just to keep making progress and keep a good, you know, a good feeling about what you're doing in your work. Like I said, I particularly like this one because this team was struggling, and it would be a team that most people would say, oh, this is a team you could overlook and you wouldn't be prepared for, and you're looking past or whatever. And we didn't do that. We didn't do any of that. And that's always been a marker of mine that over the years to gauge how connected your team is, you know, and how real the conversation is, because this is what we're talking about doing week in and week out. So it's important, and particularly right now, as we wanted to jumpstart our way into this fourth quarter, and we're trying to finish this thing off with a bang. And to do that, we got to get this first game, but we did it right, and we don't have to adjust or change a thing. We just need to keep on working here and make sure that we're focused and hopefully stay healthy, and away we go.
Speaking of health, while the offensive line is thin due to injuries, the rest of the team pretty healthy. Carroll says they may even see the return of running back Rashad Penny and cornerback Quinton Dunbar this week.
Rashad's going to practice as he's practicing to play the game, so we'll see how that works out, and we'll figure it out by the end of the week. But he's going with the mentality that he's up and eligible and all of that. So we'll see how that goes. Quentin is really in the same vein. He's going to get ready to play in the game, and we'll find out at the end of the week, you know, and call it, you know, when we get all the information.
Carroll is not so sure about the return of Greg Olsen or Carlos Dunlop. Olsen is recovering from surgery on his foot. Dunlop trying to come back from a foot injury as well, but didn't require surgery. Now, facing the Jets last weekend, a team that Coach Carroll coached back in 1994, stirred some memories for Carroll. He says he saw the model created by Buffalo back then. That was something he wanted to emulate.
You know, I go all the way back to when I was at the Jets in the first game we played against Buffalo, and we had won our opening game, and at Buffalo against, you know, another tough Marv Levy team. It was a cool win, first win ever, you know, from, you know, as a head coach and all. I thought it was going to be easy, and I remember, you know, noting on that day that the Bills had won, I don't know what it was, maybe 6 or 7. It seemed like divisions in a row. You know, that was when they were going back to the Super Bowl the 4 times and all of that. and realizing that kind of consistency was possible, and that kind of consistency was, to me, was worthy of shooting for, and setting as a standard that you can come back year after year after year and keep showing that that you belong and that you're worthy and all that.
Seattle and Washington will kick off at 10 o'clock our time Sunday morning from FedEx Field in Landover, Maryland. You can watch the game on Fox. Well, here's what we have coming up this week on the NCWLIFE channel. It begins with Hockey Night Thursday night when the Wenatchee Wild take on the Chilliwack Chiefs at the Town Toyota Center at 7 o'clock. Game is from last February 15th. Arch Ecker with the play-by-play. Friday night, it's Eastmont and Moses Lake and Big Nine basketball at Eastmont High School. Girls started off at 7, followed by the boys at 8:30. Grant Olson courtside with your play-by-play. And then on Saturday, Eastmont hosts Davis in girls action at 2. The boys will follow at 7 o'clock from a game last February 7th. I will have the honor of doing the play-by-play for that one. That's a look at sports news. I'm Eric Grandstrom. Grant, back to you.
Thank you very much, Eric. And boy, talking about sports makes me sure miss it, that's for sure. Well, a reminder before we leave you tonight, the Wenatchee City Hall building will close to the public from this Thursday the 17th through Friday, December 21st, while an electrical upgrade is put in place. The upgrade to the building at 301 Yakima Street means city services will be unavailable from Thursday until noon on Monday. City offices are already closed to the public, save by appointment, due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Utility payments may still be made online, by mail, or by Dropbox. Now let's check in with Dan Kuntz for a look at what's coming up tomorrow morning on Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Dan?
Thanks, Grant. On Wednesday's edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, we will have the updated weather forecast to pass along to you. We'll also take you up to the major mountain passes as we head into the bigger traveling season for the holidays. We'll have the latest news. We'll have sports. We'll have the obscure holiday. We'll have Today in History. We'll have an opinion from Mike McNaughty and some celebrity birthdays as well. Start your day with Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We're live and we're local from this very studio at 7 a.m. Monday through Friday. Grant, back to you.
Thank you very much, Dan. And before we let you go, let's take one more look at that very wet forecast as we head into Wednesday. A 90% chance of rain tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow night. A bit of a break on Thursday after maybe a morning sprinkle. Things will warm up to around 40 and higher. We'll see a 30% chance of rain Friday, going up to a 70% chance of rain on Saturday. And then we'll just hold with a 40% chance of rain on both Sunday and Monday. But as I mentioned, high temperatures between 40 and 45 degrees. And that's going to do it for our newscast tonight. For more on these stories and other news from around North Central Washington, you can find us on Facebook or our website at ncwlife.com. And remember, if you see news happening, we'd like to hear from you. You can send us an email at news@ncwlife.com or give us a call at 888-NCWL. That's 888-6295. I'm Grant Olson. Thanks for joining us, and have a great night.
Merry Christmas, Wenatchee Valley. Collins is decorated and fully stocked with wonderful gifts. Luxurious cashmere wraps and sweaters, stylish coats to keep you warm, adorable at-home wear from PJ Salvage, socks, fresh popcorn treats, caramels from Boston, natural candles from Bend, Oregon in differing scents, hand-carved soaps, beautiful and amazing lather, scarves, coats, etc., etc., and the largest Brighton assortment of jewelry and handbags in North Central Washington. Ladies, come in and fill out your wish list, and we will wrap it up at Collins in downtown Wenatchee.
Green Motion e-bikes have rolled into Wenatchee. We've got fun, affordable e-bikes for the whole family. Portable e-bikes that fit right in the trunk of your car. Fat tire mountain bikes plus unique vintage style bikes you won't find anywhere else. Get some exercise with pedal assist or just cruise up to 20 miles per hour with the throttle. Starting under $1,000, Green Motion e-bikes are affordable fun for the whole family.
Hey everyone, Fletcher and Amy Ellingson here from Live It Up. Join us every week as we answer your questions on health, wealth, and relationships.
We're all about you creating a life that you love, so tune in to Live It Up.